Hello and welcome to my second Imperium build video where I'm going to build a small vessel, SV, to the size of a CV. And I did start with a vehicle and in a previous video and build some nice, I guess a cockpit that was sort of a CV style in the SV blocks. But I ran into a little bit of a problem if you watch that particular video where I didn't actually plan the design out correctly. So in this case, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've built a huge base. Well, big enough anyway. And then when I went and set up a whole bunch of, a couple of walls, lots of blocks, color them in a hex pattern, as you can see there. Added some lights, which will be important later on when it gets dark. Parked it on the sunny side of the planet, so the video is nice, not dark. And what I'm doing here is what I should have done originally. So I'm coming up with a design based upon like how I would build this in 3D. So essentially, we've got the floor beneath us, giving us sort of an outlay of the shadow of what I'm intending to build, which is sort of like a bird of prey sort of shape, small vessel in CV size. Then the back wall here, I'm going to actually put down how it looks as far as the wings go, and also the lower area for entry. And then off to the right hand side there, I've got sort of a side view of how sort of the wings going to be positioned along with the actual cockpit area, which is more like going to be more like a bridge. You can over there, and you can see over here I've got this sort of green mesh. That's because I hit N on the keyboard, brought up build mode, and put a symmetry line on the base, right, which is straight through the middle. So that'll speed up the actual process of colouring in the blocks to make them in symmetry, which I should have done in the first place. Would have been a lot faster. But that's also going to make a nice joke here because the symmetry is turned on. I'm just going to put lights on that side. I'll find out later there's actually lights floating in space on the other side of the base now. But, hey, these things you learn. Alright, so the idea was get some symmetry, get a design. There's my design. The red block represents basically the position of where I want the core to be. I'm going to use my usual trick, which is I'm going to build a structure to put my core block on. Right, so when you start with the core block, that's great, except after some time, like after you position it, she falls to the ground. Alright, so I tend to want to put a frame so I can get the core, because the core can't move. Like the only way to actually move this core, for instance, once you've actually built it, that's my ship. That's where I got to before. Built a cockpit for a CV, and then the wings were too small. Short version. So, yeah, when you put down the core, the only way to actually move this core would be to build the capability of movement. So, a cockpit, thrusters, an engine, or like a generator in this case, and a fuel tank, etc. So I could actually physically get it to lift off and move in space. Otherwise, this is the way to do it, right? So put it on a frame. I still make a mistake here, and the mistake is, yep, I've got a core. The core was very happy balancing on top of the frame that I've built. But even though these blocks are fairly light compared to other blocks that I could be building with, they do still have weight, right? And because they have weight, you can imagine that I do have a scale here. So it doesn't happen straight away, but as far as scaling goes, with that built on that block, in hindsight, yeah, symmetry plane. Now I'm going to change the symmetry plane to the actual vessel. Right, so now the idea is symmetry plane. Yeah, just got to line that up right. So they'll be on the actual vessel itself rather than on the base, because you can see that when I put the actual core down, it is slightly out and not actually perfectly aligned with the base. Which is funny because when I build the wing out here, as I build out and the weight, you can see she drops down on an angle. Right, so there's a slight angle already leaning towards the right, and that's because there's no support on the right. Right, so all that weight is balancing on that fixed point with the core, and that is going to cause me some trouble, which is why you're not watching a timed video as I recorded it. You're watching I'll go with the commentary after the build, and I've sped it up by 4 because this took quite a while to actually build and sort of trying to line up with the blocks, but then they don't line up with the blocks necessarily straight away because now that whole frame is lower, right? And it's not just lower because of the weight, because as I was building it, because I got symmetry turned on, it's building on the other side. But you see a problem. Here we go. This is a problem. So now I'm trying to fix it. So artificial blocks, they're very heavy. So now I have to add some weight to try and pull the frame back up from its lower position, and then also get it to sit flat and sit even. And that was a bit of an adventure in itself, right? So once you get there, especially because it takes a second, right? So okay, now the frame is tilting the other way. So like, okay, counterweight. So these blocks are, so I think, 250 kilos each for the artificial mass blocks, and then the actual frame that I'm using there are 100 kilo blocks. So 250,000, 250k versus 100. So the black blocks don't weigh that much, but in comparison to these ones, but still it is weight, and it does make a difference. Especially, the longer you go, longer pieces stick, and that's just one of the good parts about this game. It has it takes into account weight. So this whole engine is it takes into account gravity, and that being said, you could possibly build something that involves a weight that slides, and then actually have it tilt and adjust on a fixed point. So that might make for an interesting build later on. But here's me trying to get this sorted by adding more weight, adjusting weight, put weight this side, put weight that side, and then there's a delay. And I'm not sure at this point whether having to bump it, or stand on it, or jump on it, or just a period of time. Yeah, there we go. So it's fallen down too far. Too much weight. Makes a difference, but what I need to do is this, right? So essentially put a frame, just like scaffolding. Too far. Way too far. So put scaffolding underneath your frame. Don't do it like I did, otherwise you end up with this problem. So you're going to build a frame out. Cool. Put scaffolding down first at the different points that you're going to take, or at least extend it out. Or, third option, what I've done here, put weight. But in the end, the best way to get this set up, so like jumping on it make a difference, adding more weight, because there's some sort of delay between when it actually activates, there we go, see, and what happens. And plus that light, where those lights are sitting, they're no longer an even block, right? So the light itself takes up a block space, right? So I have to move the light. Right, that's fine, but that's actually still too high. Right, that's going to come down. It's harder to see with the small vessel as far as the blocks go, exactly where the angle is, because there's a lot less to actually see about the angle. But you can see, like, if I try to come out, yeah, she's on an angle. Right, remember, as I build on this side, because it's symmetry, it's building on that side as well. So I'm creating extra weights on the other side. Alright. So I turn the lights on the base, because it's getting dark now. Alright, and we see that she can't fall down any further because... We'll try to use the vessel. So, did this work? Short version? Nope. So, can I use a vessel and bang in this other vessel, this frame vessel, that I've got to try and adjust its position? And the answer is it has a very minimal effect. Right, so I basically parked it on there, and it didn't really work. Right, put some extra weight, still didn't work. Yeah, should be like one. Right, so that was a bad idea. Push it down. I also found that with this vessel at one stage during the other build, or before I put the wings, I went and removed the RCS unit, which is required for doing things like turning. So it's pretty important to actually have one of those. It's a good idea to have one of those. So it's definitely something to consider. Yeah, see, that's actually already sitting on the ground. So I'm going to remove some blocks. Alright, and then that will eventually float up, so I can actually put another block underneath it. Right, now, yeah, this needs an RCS. Can't even properly remove this out of here. So let's put an RCS unit in there. And now we have turning ability. Yay. So RCS required for a minimal build. Just trying to push it aside. And it looks like it is sort of working a little bit. Like tap, 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 tap. Probably would work a lot more if it didn't have so much weight on it now. Because that's actually a fair bit of weight if you think about it. But the real idea would be to make this, or add to the ship, right? So add fuel tank, add generator, add an RCS, which is underneath cockpit, so you can actually control it, right? And thrusters. So an up thruster, down thruster, left thruster, right thruster, and forward thruster, back thruster. And that allow me to actually give this a bit of a wriggle and get that aligned on that block better, and possibly even, yeah, with the height better. Watch out for that light, it's probably a bit close there. Alright, so now I can get in here and give it a shake. Right, I'll just try and get this lined up and drop down. You can see that red peaking. So that's your energy usage, and it's already going past 100%, which means you know, the thrusters just aren't capable of lifting this weight, this much, you know, vessel's weight. I'll take another level out of that one, and I'm too low with this, so that's going to come up, which means I have to remove a few things. So I'm going to add some generators at a higher level, and some fuel tanks, so effectively the fuel moves into those. I might clear that out, chuck some RCS up there, and I can't put that thruster's now on the bottom, so she can come out, and the RCS. Alright, so now that's a little better. See, I drop down a bit more. Nice, and it's not quite there yet. There's still an angle. Haven't quite got low enough. So even with my plan, plan to work a bit better. Now I have to move all the thrusters, because essentially they're now on the bottom. And I won't make that mistake. I just put this up a little bit higher. There we go. RCS higher. Right. That's better. Still have an angle. Better. One more. Give yourself a bit extra height. So it takes less mucking around to actually remove it next time, if it's not at the right height. Alright, there we go. Back in. Good. That's looking better. Actually looking very nice. Alright. Now, okay, that doesn't sit there because the light's there. That's actually taking a block space. It's invisible. Alright. Just to be funny, I'm going to add some trusses. See if I can get this nose to line up with the base. So I can get the whole ship to line up with the base. Forwards, backwards, move ahead. And the thrusters actually move that much weight and get it lined up. Yeah, so it's looking fairly flat. Yep, I can put that block underneath now. Finally, it's looking good. Alright, so now I've got... turn it off. Right, structure. I think we're done. I think it finally got that level and lined up with the base. So that's going to make it a lot easier to continue building this out. So just follow the design on the wall. Just sort of get a rough sort of idea of where everything's going to be in a frame. Yeah, if this was a CV build, most of my CV builds, I tend to build around the equipment. So it's like throw everything together first, what I need, like warp tank, fuel tank, etc. and so forth, and then build a frame around it and build a design around it. This one I'm going in reverse, particularly because small vehicles also have smaller components. You know, smaller bricks, of course, you know, quarter the size of the CV. But yeah, this small vehicle, I'm going to be able to do a nicer circle for the bridge there, and that's just a basic outline. Bring that across. You can see I'm now trying to follow that on the bottom, failing a little bit. That'll be duplicated on the other side, so I have to clean that up later. Yeah, sort of get an idea of where it's going to be going. Doesn't need to join on that bottom frame. That bottom frame represents what it looks like from the back. And this is what it joins there. Essentially the wing. Or at least like an idea of where the wing is going to be physically positioned. There we go, cleaned up, looking better. Yeah, learn from my mistakes. Find a center point, there we go, and I'm just going to drop some structure. Right, just I'm going to probably modify that. Alright, this vehicle's on the wrong road. Yeah, move the vehicle first, good idea. Turn the vehicle on, good fuel, turn on. Yep, that's better, now. Come back out before this adjusts anything. Good. Didn't fall. Nice. So now I've got a good frame that'll hold it up. Right, that's looking pretty good. And yeah, I'll continue to build from there. And yeah, as it gets more interesting, I might do like standard speed videos. You know, and do the more intricate parts. Yeah, so there's the frame. Yeah, so if you like this video, please hit the like. If you want to yeah, continue watching my up and coming future videos, where I actually take this and turn this into a reasonably looking, as good as I can do, bird of prey using the small blocks, then hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notification. And when the new video is up, then you'll get notified and you'll be able to actually watch how things are progressing there. But you can sort of see from that frame, like so the back, yeah, it's got a main sort of area, right? Wings drip down, not sort of drop down, and they sort of come back up. So it's got a bit more 3D action that way. And then this sort of bird of prey, if you look at the bottom in the blue, you've got that sort of wingspan coming to like a center structure, which sort of leads from the main body out to the neck to the bridge. So the bridge is extended out past that. So I'm going to build a frame, tidy up this frame. So basically, frame by frame, improve the look of the frame, chop and change, add from the 2D sort of areas, going to bring it in, connect it up, give it that 3D space, and then start putting things in the actual bridge, because at the moment the cockpit's right down the bottom. Then once that's sort of done, once I've got the frame and built a bit more three dimensions to that, especially the lower dimension, and get it so it actually can sit on the base itself, then I'll remove the structure we have there, which will no longer need, and continue building from the inside and designing. And if you stick with me, we'll get to the end and we'll have this. I'll have built this nice vessel, hopefully. And what I'll do is I'll also, if you like it, if you make a comment and say, this is what you would like to have this in the game. By the way, Imperium is still free. If you haven't got it, now is the time. Jump on that Epic store and grab that Imperium game for free and have so much fun. Okay, so if you've got the game, or go get the game, so you get the game, then later on you should be able to go to the workshop, and I'll actually upload this, and I'll see if there's a link pointing directly to it. If there is, I'll put that in the description of the video when we get to that point. Then you two can fly this vessel. I'm actually thinking the base might be worth putting there as well, because it took a while to actually put that base with all the blocks and color it in. But essentially, if I go and clean that up and put it back to plain grid, then it's a nice to have, especially when you can get in there and use that to sort of understand the three dimensions, how it's going to look from the side, from the back, and from the top, which gives you that sort of capability of sort of looking and understanding where you've got to go, and planning. Planning is good. All right, thanks for watching. Like the video if you like it, subscribe, as I said, and watch out for future videos. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.